Hello everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to do a Valentine's set. Oops. What I'm going to wear on Valentine's Day. I've made a necklace and a pair of earrings. We'll do the earrings next. But this is the necklace, and it curves, and it's like a little collar that sits around your neck. And I use the Czech drops that I most recently got with 11 seed beads, 3mm fire polish, and some 3mm bicones, Swarovski bicones. Now I'm going to make different colors, and instead of the bicones, I'm going to use another color of 3mm fire polish, but you're most welcome to use the bicones if you have them in the right color. Alright, so when I come back, I'll show you the materials list. Alright, I got our materials ready, and we're going to need some 11 seed beads. I've got dark bronze, some 3mm fire polish, 2 strands. We won't quite use 2 strands, but you got to have more than a strand. So 2 strands of 3mm fire polish, or 3mm, whatever you want to use. I got some 15-0s, and I think it's dark bronze. I've got 1 strand of a different color, 3mm fire polish. You can use bicones, 3mm bicones. That's what I used on the necklace that I just showed you. And then a pack of 6x4mm. I got lava metallic drops, and there's 100. And you can get them really reasonable at Eureka Crystal Beads. So that's a string of a. Alright, we're going to start off with our 11-0s and our 3mm fire polish, our main color fire polish. You're going to have a wingspan, at least a fire line, whatever you're comfortable with, because you will have to change thread. So I've got a stop bead on and leave about a 12-inch tail, 8 to 12-inch tail, so you can sew in your clasp with that. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off picking up a 3mm fire polish, 3 11-0 seed beads, 3mm. Just got one too many. 3mm fire polish, and 3 11-0 seed beads. Right, like that. Oops, I missed showing you one. Right, like this. Alright, bring them down. And then we're going to needle up through the bead closest to the stop bead. Okay. Pull it down, and this is what you'll have. Alright. Go through the first 3 11-0 seed beads. It's a little harder to bead on camera because you're holding it way out from you, and especially if you have any vision problems at all, it gets tricky. So we pick up 1 11-0. We're coming out of those 3 11-0s. We'll just go in that first 11-0 there on that set of 3 and pull, and make sure we want to keep our 11-0s in between these 3mm. So let's needle through that top 11-0. And the 11-0 on the right. And that one we just added to the center. Right there. Now we're coming out of that center 11-0. That's kind of in between those two fire polish beads. See, right there. And we're going to come down to the set of 3 that we haven't done. Come down through the first couple of seed beads. And try to pull those in, you know, in line in between those two 3mm. Then we're going to go up through that last seed bead we didn't get. And I kind of aim my needle right where I want it to go. See? And then put my finger on it and pull. Good. Then we'll go back through that middle seed bead. And then we'll come up through. Just because this is the first row, I want to make sure that 3mm is attached well. So I went up through the 3mm from the center bead. Okay, I'm going to turn it a little so I can get through this top 3 seed beads. The next seed bead and the 3mm. If you can't do it all at once, do it in 2 steps. Go down through that 3mm. Good. That's what we have. We have a diamond shape. Okay. Now we want to pick up three more 11-0s. We're not going to pick up that first fire polish because we're working on it. We're sharing that. And we need to pick up a fire polish now and 3 11-0s. And that's what we're going to be picking up. Just like that. Every time we add a unit. So we're coming out of that bottom of that 3mm. We'll go through the top, which is the opposite side. And then we'll go through the next 3 seed beads. Baby. Okay. And make sure your you know, pull down if your thread is loose. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, we've picked up 1 11-0, and now we're going to go back through 2 of those same seed beads we're coming out of. We're going to add that 1. It makes a right angle weave unit. Okay, then we're going to go up through the last one. Like I said, I always keep wherever I want my bead to stay is where I put my needle. Right in the center. Then I want to go through that middle seed bead that we just added. All we're doing is we are attaching both sets of 3 to that center bead. Hey! Sorry about that. Go through the first seed bead on the top. Then you could have went through 2 seed beads, but it's up to you, however many you want to go through. We want to kind of shape these as we go so that they're going to sit inside of that 3mm. So I'm going to, like I said, place my needle where I want that bead to go, put my finger on it and pull, and then I'm going to go through that center 11-0 again, got my tail thread mixed, good, pull that out. Alright, coming out of the center. Now we'll jump up through the top, three seed beads, or the bottom 3 seed beads, whichever you prefer. And see, I pulled the wrong way and my seed bead. Let's go ahead back through that middle seed bead again. If your beads aren't laying right, if they are loose, just go to fix it. You'll see where you just need to, your beads will tell you where you need to go. See, this needs to be pulled over toward that fire polish, so I just went through that from the middle seed bead to that fire polish like I did last time, and then up through these 3 beads to work my way to the next fire polish where we want to start another unit. Now I'm going to go down through that fire polish, and that's 4 or 2. You want to continue making these little units until you have 81 units, and I'll come back, I'll pop back in and check on you, see how it's going. Alright, I'll see you in the next step. Alright, let's do some more. Let's pick up 3 11-0 seed beads. We're coming out of that 3mm fire polish. Let's pick up 1 3mm fire polish and 3 11-0 seed beads. See, that's what we pick up every time. We're coming out the top. We'll come up through the opposite side of that fire polish bead, and that's what it looks like until we bead it into shape. Alright, so we'll come through the first 3 seed beads, we'll pick up 1 11-0 seed bead, and we'll come up through at least one of those 3 seed beads, and see how it's got loose. Just want to try to pull that down tighter. No. Alright, so, you know, we went through that center, we went through the other 3, back through the center. So we're connecting each set of 3 seed beads to that center seed bead, making right angle weave units. It's a very, very simple design. But it looks beautiful after we embellish it. Alright, so there we went through the bottom 3 seed beads, and now back through that center seed bead. And pull. And we have our, you know, it looks like a diamond. So we'll go, if you wanted to, you could even use like a little 2mm bead for that center bead. Alright, so just continue to do that. What I did was, after I came through the center again, I just went through the bottom and came up through that 3mm. Alright, so what's that going? See, that's what I'm always afraid of when I zoom in, that it won't. It'll get fuzzy. So there's 4 units, alright? Okay, I made my necklace 81 units long, alright? I forgot to say, we need a clasp, a toggle clasp for this, so I'll go ahead and grab that. Go ahead and make your 81 units, come back, and we'll do the next step. Hey, I just wanted to check in and see how everybody's doing. I've got 20 made so far, and so I've got 3 more sets of 20 to do. I like to do it like that because it kind of breaks it down in smaller chunks and makes it seem doable. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple more with you. Pick up 3 11-ohs, 3mm, 3 more 11-ohs, like that. Coming out the top, let's go up through the opposite side, through the bottom. Throw those 3 11-oh seed beads. Pick up 1 11-oh and go up through at least one of those seed beads that we just went through. Go through the next 2 and back through that center seed bead. It looks awful loose, so try to pull it down tight, and then go through the next set of 3, the opposite, the one you haven't done yet, from the center bead. Try to keep them in the center, in between those 2 3mm. There we go. Pull. We have our diamond. Then you can either go up through these 3 or down through the bottom 3 to get back to that 3mm. This seems a little loose. So I'm going to go back through that center bead again, and then through the top 3. Just to you're carried up. You know, you can tell when you're doing yours what it needs. And then through that 3mm. Alright, so there's 21. Now we need 3 more sets of 20. And come back and we'll do the next set, or the next step. Okay, I wanted to show you now, I'm running out of thread. So while you still have a good little bit to tie off with, you don't want it to get real short where you can't really do anything with it. So I just wanted to let you know that you can tie off. Okay, you can, let's do a few, and I'll just make my point as we go. We're going to have to come through these end seed beads on both sides, the points, the tips. So you don't tie a knot before them. You can tie a knot right before any other bead. Like I just went through the tip, and now I'm going to go through, tie a knot and go through that next bead. Alright, and then I'll tie a knot and go through that 3mm. Then I will tie a knot after that 3mm, a half hitch knot, and go through that next bead. And then I'll just go through that tip. I won't tie a knot before, but I can tie a knot after. And go through that next bead. And then I can tie a knot after that and go through that 3mm. Alright, so just don't tie a knot and go through the tips, because we need to go through those tips when we embellish. Alright, so continue to go around and tie some more knots, and then come back and we'll add thread. Okay, now we have to, I've got another long piece of thread. You notice that big long thread only did that much, so we need another one. And I put a stop bead on, came up through the 3mm. I forgot to start the camera, but I just started. I tied a knot after I came through the 3mm. Now I'm going to come through the next 2 11/0s. And it's got a knot up in it already, I think. Alright, I got through those. And then I'm going to tie a half hitch knot here. And I'm going to go up through the 11/0 and the 3mm. And then this will be sewed in really well after we add the rest. And then after we're finished, we can sew this in along the embellishments, and it'll be nice and secure. Alright, so from here we just start over, picking up 3 11/0 seed beads, 1 3mm, and 3 11/0 seed beads. and go through the opposite side of that bead and continue making our units. And now whenever we're finished, we'll come back and embellish. Let's get out our, right now we're going to be using our 15-ohs and our drops, and first we're going to go ahead and put the clasp on. Alright, so let's pick up four 15-ohs, and let's do a red, or I'm going to do the main color fire polish, right, for the clasp, not for the clasp, but for part of the clasp. Pick up four, wait a minute, no, let's pick up our, I'm going to use the loop part because the way it figures out, I need the clasp part on the right because I'm right-handed and the loop on the left. So that's how this will work out. So go through the loop of the toggle, go down through, let me get more to the center, go down through that fire polish after we add our toggle, and then pick up four 15-oh seed beads. This toggle clasp needs room to breathe. If not, you won't be able to get it in and out because it's too tight, and the bead, you know, it's just, you got to give it room. And then go through that fire polish here on the end, the one we started in, and pull. Let's go ahead and reinforce that a couple times. Come up through the first four seed beads, needle through the loop of that clasp, back through the fire polish and the four seed beads, like that. And pull. And then we'll go back down through that fire polish. We'll reinforce again on our way back up through, okay? So now let's go down through. Let me see if let me zoom in. I hope that focuses back. Alright, so let's go down through these two 11-ohs, the ones right after the fire polish, right there. There we go. And then we'll start picking up a 15-oh, a drop, a 15-oh, and we're coming out the tip of that diamond. We'll go through the next 11-oh on the next tip and pull. And you know, we don't want to pull extremely tight, but we do not want any thread showing either. So just make sure it's you know, it's in place, there's no thread showing, it's fairly taut. And pick up another 15-oh, another drop, another 15-oh, and jump over into that next 11-oh of that next point. Okay, and don't, if you pull real hard, see how it makes them all bunch up and stick up? You want to just make sure they're even. Okay, now let's pick up another 15-oh. No, a drop and a 15-oh. Oops, I didn't get it. Alright, and okay, jump over into that next 11-0. Make sure everything's right. And like I said, don't pull too tight. Alright, pick up a 15-0 and a drop. And another 15-0. Coming out of this 11-0 here on the end, jump over to that next 11-0. Okay, and our necklace is going to be fairly straight until we put the top row on, and that's when it's going to curve, okay? So I'll do it one more time with you. 15-0, drop, 15-0, jump over into that next 11-0. Alright, so continue to go all along the whole length of your necklace, putting on the drops. Come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so I've got all my drops on and I'm running out of thread. And I also said we're going to use the tail to sew on our clasp. So that's what we're going to do. But first we have to sew off our thread. So we're coming out of that 11 now. After we put that last drop on, I'm just going to go underneath the thread bridge there in between the two beads. Pull until I have a, well, I don't know what just happened. We don't want to pull too tight because we don't want these drops to, you know what, let's go ahead and go up through and then do it right here before the 3mm. So I pull down a small loop, needle through the loop. Try not to pull too extra tight. And then I'll go through that 3mm, watching out for that tail thread. Alright, and then I can do another knot here. There we go. And then I'm going to come through the center because we're going to need that top edge to put on our other 3mm beads. So I'm just going to come through the center. I want to try to find a thread bridge here. There we go. Behave, baby. Pull down a knot, and then I'm going to come down through that center 3mm. Where did I end up? Alright, and then I'm going to come through the middle. Here. Watch your thread. And then I'll find a thread bridge. down through that 3mm. And then I'll come through the middle here. Just continue to do that same thing a few more times. And then put your needle on your tail thread, and we'll do the last part of the toggle clasp. Okay. I have put my needle on my tail thread, and we're coming out of that 3mm bead right where we need to be. Let's pick up 4 15-ohs. Hold on, I need to get a red fire polish. Okay, so pick up the red fire polish and then 4 more 11-ohs or 15-ohs. No, we don't. Okay, don't forget, I forgot the toggle. Sorry about that. So toggle after the fire polish, and then go down through that fire polish before you pick up the 4 seed beads. Then we pick up 4 15-ohs. And come through that fire polish bead at the end of our necklace there, the one we started in. Okay, and let's go ahead and, since I don't have enough thread, and if you're using your tail thread, you don't either. So to do the necklace part, so we'll go ahead and just keep reinforcing, and then we'll sew this off. So I went up through the right side of the beads and through the toggle clasp, and now I'm coming down through the fire polish, the 4mm or the 4 15mm again. But you don't get hung up on your toggle clasp. Then go back through that 3mm fire polish. Let's go back and reinforce again. Baby, she's banging on the screen door. Then when I go to let her out, she runs. So that's what I'm dealing with right now, in case you hear any banging. She don't want out. I don't know what she wants. She's a little brat. Then you come back down through fire polish. And then you come through the 4 15-ohs. Alright, do that one more time and back through the 3mm. Do that one more time and come back, and we'll add a thread and do the top row. Alright? And don't forget, we need to, sew this off. So we'll be doing our half hitch knots wherever, but don't do them on the top, because you still have to go through the top, and be very careful doing them on the bottom. You don't want to pull anything out of shape. So just do them. Oh, now I got to take that out because it didn't go under. Make sure your knot goes in the right spot. I don't know how to get out of that. Alright, so I'll figure this out. Just go ahead and tie your knots. Come back, we'll do the last step. Okay. I got out my 3mm. I'm using to brighten the piece up, okay? I'm using 3mm fire polish. You can use the 3mm bicones, look great. I just didn't have any of the right color, so I'm using the fire polish. And I got out sewed in my tail before my end thread, so I need to sew in a brand new piece of thread. It's about a wingspan, so we have to sew all these on and then go back and reinforce. So I left about a 6-7 inch tail. So we'll start where are we going to start? Let's see, I'll start right here. I'll start my thread here. Get through that second to last fire polish. I'll go up through these two. I can't get a hold on it right. Let me go. Right now I'm just sewing in a new thread. I've got my stop bead on to stop that side. I will sew that side of the thread in so it'll be secure when I'm finished. I'm not going to sew in a whole lot on this side because I'm going to be sewing on, I'm going to be using this side and it's going to be sewed in already as I sew it in. So, baby, calm down. I don't know why she does that. Every time I start the camera, she gets so feisty. Alright, so I want it to be, I'm coming out, let's see, I want to be coming out of one of these beads. So let me backtrack. Sorry about that. She distracts me when she starts acting up. I want to be coming out of this first gold bead right here. That's, because I want to fill that gap in, okay? So that's what I'm doing. So I'll go up here. Go through this bead. I'll tie a knot so I can turn around. I won't have to go through that bead anymore, so it's okay. So there's that. Then I'll come back around, come back through this bead. As one bronze seed bead. Now, I want to use some 15-0, the same 15-0 bronze that I have been using to fill in this little gap here and reinforce a little bit. So I think it'll take 3 15-0s to fill that gap. Let me see. Let me check and see. Nope, won't take 3. Gosh. 2, maybe 1. Okay, let's see, let's try that. Move that out of the way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 2. It took 2. Alright, so we'll go up. Reinforce this clasp one last time to get to where, we need to be. I'm trying to get through those 2. through the lobster claw loop, and then we'll go back down the other side. Here we go. Come back down through the other side and the 4 15-0s. Pick up 2 seed beads. And come down through that gold seed bead right there on the other side of the fire polish. The 11-0. Alright, and there we just filled in those little gaps, little holes. Made it look a little better. Alright, now we go through that tip. That 11-0 that's on the tip. And then now we're going to pick up our 3mm fire polish. Oops. And we're coming out of 1. We'll just jump over into that next fire polish and fill that little gap. Pick up a fire polish, come out of this fire polish, or 11-0, jump over to the next 11-0. And as we're doing this, we're going to keep it pulled fairly tight to where you don't see any thread, okay? Coming out of the 1 11-0, jump over into the next 11-0. Put that fire polish in that. See, it's going to naturally curve. Pick up a 3mm fire polish or a pie cone, whatever you're using. Coming out of this 11-0, we're going to jump over into the next 11-0. Very simple. Very, very simple. Pick up a 3mm. Coming out of that 11-0, jump through the next 11-0. Now you're just going to do this all the way down the top side of your necklace. The only hard thing there is about this is with all of these dangles and things, and even tail threads, you know, keeping your thread where you want it to be without getting caught and having loops of thread when you're finished. See, and put that in there. And as you go, you want to flatten it out and make sure everything's pulled just the right. You know, if you pull it too tight, it bunches up. You don't want it that tight, but you want it to where you can't see any thread there. And it's already starting to curve a little, and it'll start curving. It'll pull it in so where it's not so long. Alright, so go all along like I said, go all along your other side, the opposite side that your drops are on, putting these 3mm beads in between each 11-0 tip bead. Alright, come back when you're finished with that. Here we go. Here's our date night Valentine's Day necklace. Of course, it does not have to be worn on Valentine's Day, but it'd be a good piece of jewelry to wear for date night or Valentine's, or when the two combine. I am going to make a pair of earrings to match. I've already designed them. I just have to make the video. So keep your eyes out for those. I thank you for being with me and beading along with me to make some beautiful jewelry, art, Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.